House Bill 163. If you have sat in this elected seat for multiple terms, you probably have dealt with this construction prevailing wage issue for many times before. I know that some of you want the practice of government-imposed wage rates to be abolished, while some of you think that it's advantageous for your future to keep this relic, but perhaps some of you are unsure and may default to a perspective on the issue, just let the status quo continue. If you are in the latter group, or honestly just need to understand the issue better, I would ask you to please hear my testimony, because I bring the years of experience in three distinct and complementary perspectives to you today. Please bear with me as I lay the foundation for my experience on this critical issue. First, I'm a third-generation president of a commercial construction company doing business in Central Ohio for 65 years. I have quite literally spent my entire life working in the industry, initially under the tutelage of my father and grandfather. I earned my civil engineering and business degree from Ohio Northern University and led our company for many years now. We're a merit shop company that's performed many projects whose combined cost has been in the hundreds of millions of dollars. Some of these projects through the years have utilized prevailing wage. Thus, I'm very familiar with the issue that differentiates merit shop versus the prevailing wage issue. Second, I'm chairman of the Associated Builders and Contractors of Ohio, and in this role, I oversee our chapter staff and boards as we continue to work on educating, educating the emerging workforce in our apprenticeship training courses, providing safety training to all levels of our existing workforce, and third, promoting free enterprise model as the best method to deliver our products to a consumer-based American economy. That's a key point. As such, I am familiar with the long history of this outdated and burdensome prevailing wage issue. Third, regarding my issues, I have served for many years on the board of the Licking County Library. As chairman of this fine community endeavor, it is my privilege to invest hundreds of hours of my personal time to ensure the present and future success of one of the bedrock institutions that has championed the equal education for all her citizens for hundreds, yes, even thousands of years. Libraries in America have a great and cherished place in our history, and we can continue to change with the times. We have even a brighter future. The digital age has brought us new challenges, but our Licking County Library is on the cutting edge of this change because we have brought in the best library minds from around the country to master plan our future service model and the buildings to support that mission. Social and technical knowledge used to be best described as a funnel, where the books and the plans of thousands of individual disciplines used to be brought in from all over the world onto the shelves of our library, where the citizens could access the best minds and ideas. Now the digital age offers us a transition that is not unlike the changes brought about by the Gutenberg printing press of the 1440s, whose invention made possible the dissemination of literature to everyone. Now the digital age inverts that funnel, and our library mission is changing, not in a restricted way, quite the opposite. We have a huge opportunity to bring people together of hundreds of individual talents and give them the tools to be much more productive, and the key word is together. People want to be able to join together in community groups, to write and create and problem solve and attend live demonstrations, to learn new ways. The classroom model still works for many, but it is the collaborative effort, aided by teaching and technology, that is much more helpful to this new and coming generation. To that end, our Licking County Library has planned to build a multi-purpose community center as a showcase to set this concept drawing. I brought with me, just so you understand how serious we are. It's very simple and a concept drawing, but we have employed an architect here in Columbus, and there's a floor plan of the space we need. It's about 10,000 feet. There's a rough sketch of what the building would look like. It's not in the colors we want, but it's for purposes of showing. It's very straightforward. It is a space that has lots of different areas in it where people can do different things. Large areas, we have well, I'll spare you time. You've been here a long day. We have lots of ideas on how this could be helpful. We were on target to build this building and saving some of our state revenue each year. However, with the recent budget cuts, our revenue stream was cut significantly. I understand the representative's issue in regard to returning those issues. We can deal with that in due time. We need this building badly. I am here today to simply ask you to do a very simple thing. Make our mission possible by reducing the cost of construction. Making the use of prevailing wages a local decision allows us to cut our costs by about, and we estimate in this particular case, about 20%. That's a huge issue for us and many communities in similar situations. I know this because I bring decades of experience together in order to see the issue clearly. Government mandated wages do nothing but drive up costs. For the representatives, I sent you beforehand, and I will be very quick here, because again, I know you've been here all night. The first sheet is my controller's summary of a job that we did in Pickerington in 2011. I picked that job because it's here local, and it's got enough age on it. It's no. The next two pages are pages 66 and 67 of a job cost report that all construction companies use, major companies use, as a summation of what our costs were in a particular job. If you go to the bottom of page 66 and the top of page 67, you will notice that those numbers come to the summary sheet over here. And so for this particular job, you have the prevailing wage rates, which are then the sheets behind that. If you're not familiar with prevailing wage, look at those sheets. That's what we as contractors have to deal with. And so when you summarize all that, the average hourly wage for prevailing wage on that job would have been $25.23. The actual wage on the job was $20.10. Therefore, the delta between the 10,336 hours worked gives you a 25% differential between what it would have been, because we're the same company. We would have done the job either way. Here, so if you understand that example, you can understand on a very basic level how that translates into Licking County's library's condition. You have this $1.5 million project, and you take out this wage rate, and you have a project then that we can all of a sudden afford, whereas today we cannot. We believe that the free market set wages and to do all the above is a good thing. So the other corollary example here is if you shop at Walmart or Amazon, you select that supplier based on their ability to service you with the products you want for the price you find acceptable. If you're wealthy, you can buy your insignia privilege from Saks Fifth Avenue. But the rest of us want a good price at great products. Maybe you think the Ohio taxpayers are wealthy, and thus are proud that you can buy your PW insignia on your state-funded projects. That is false. The truth is that what we actually need is a free market in construction that will bring us our library, a building we can afford. Thank you very much. I'm happy to take your questions.
Representative West.
Thank you for your passionate testimony.
Yes, sir.
And comparing your two different projects, and that's if you got with the project, because at that point in time, people could, the Dollar Tree could come in and bid $1 and get bid versus Giant Eagle or Walmart or whoever bidding the higher wage. Does that make sense? So you may not have gotten the bid if you had submitted the project under non-prevailing wage. Does that make sense?
I'm not totally following you.
You compared your project as a prevailing wage project and as a
Merit shop project that utilizes wages that are the market is bearing.
Yes.
Correct.
So under the free market, you may not have gotten a chance to bid to even compare the two, because you probably wouldn't have got the bid. Someone would have bid under you. Does that make sense?
No, I did get the bid with a merit shop wage rate.
Oh,
yes, sir. Yes, sir.
I'm sorry.
You misunderstood that. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to.
misunderstood that.
Yeah.
Just one question. What do you feel the rationale for prevailing wage is? You feel it's to drive up wages as a whole? What do you think was the genesis of prevailing wage?
It has changed. It has changed over the years, sir. The issue currently is to make the wages in an area more evenly competitive on just that particular issue. And so if you pay any number of companies the same wage, you take out one of the planks of what becomes a competitive process. And what my point of emphasis on my testimony is, the American system, whether you like it or not, it is a massive system. And it is based on satisfaction of the consumer. It is not the satisfaction of the government. It is not the satisfaction of the buyer. It is the satisfaction of the consumer. And so therefore, that person rules the day on how his money should be spent. And so prevailing wage artificially gives the buyer less of what it is he wants. Because he gets less projects. Let's go back to, we've been talking about the school things all day today. If we go to that issue, we can see that if you have a higher cost of schools, you get less bricks in the wall, and therefore you get less buildings.
So then at the end of the day, who profits from the prevailing wage system as it's established right now? Someone must profit from it.
Well, it's obvious. You have the individual worker that could profit from it, but again, he might make less, more, or the same on any one of these situations, depending on the economics of the individual cities where the work is being performed. The construction labor market wage rate undulates throughout the state. And so therefore, depending on where you're at, that's where it happens. So if you're asking who profits from it, it's possible if you take a higher wage rate into a depressed area as compared to a more lucrative area, then the individual worker could make more on that particular project. The problem is the buying entity, in my case, the library, cannot afford as many bricks.
Well, thank you for your
Could I ask a
testimony.
question? I have one very quick question.
I would love to hear it.
I want to make everybody happy. Go ahead.
Somebody got that on tape.
Come on together. No question. Go right.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I just have a question, and I mean, I'm not as familiar with non-union construction as I am with union construction, but is it safe to say, because I noticed in your list that you use the same number of labor hours for both prevailing wage and non-prevailing wage. So my question is, if you have a highly trained, highly skilled workforce, then would it be possible that under a prevailing wage circumstance that it might actually take fewer hours to complete because you have the most highly trained and the most highly qualified people working on your project?
Okay, here's what you got to understand. It's a legitimate question based on a vacuum. Okay, it is, because you're making a good assumption that if you have a higher trained person, you might be able to get more done, I think is the premise under there. But let me put on the hat of practical and tell you how the contracting world works. I've done projects all over the state. It's the same companies. It's the same people doing the same work. You don't change the horse that's pulling the plow here. You're simply changing the mechanism on which they get paid. So it has nothing to do with productivity. We train our workers. Other companies train their workers. We all do a better or a worse job depending on some standard of that process. But an artificial wage that is simply set out as a line item doesn't change the productivity of any particular person. It's the same people.
It's the same companies bidding either way.
Or union.
And so you're
It doesn't matter.
the same company, well, union company or merit shop company.
Yeah, that's right.
They're the same companies bidding the same work.
That's right.
Just that they have a windfall when it comes to prevailing wage.
Who?
Well, they're workers.
It's certainly not the companies.
The workers do, right? The workers.
Yeah, yes, the individual workers could, under certain circumstances, make more momentarily on a prevailing wage job.
Don't some companies set a certain amount of the workers' pay aside into a fund for use at some future point? The workers don't always get all the money.
Okay, are you talking about a prevailing wage condition?
Yeah.
That would be illegal. There's a base rate and there is a fringe. Look at your sheets that I sent you. It's a two compartment piece. They have to be assigned to the worker in some fashion. The fringe portion can be put out in a number of different ways, but it all has to go to the worker. It doesn't go to a pool.
I see. Very good. Just real quick. Thank you. I keep making things harder, don't I?
I'm leaving out.
Go right ahead.
So, just so I can be clear.
Yes, sir.
Okay. The same worker getting the same amount, whether it's prevailing or not. So that worker is working for less money if it's not prevailing wage, and they're accepting it. That's what you're telling me.
No, Representative, or Chairman, Representative. It's a market condition that each individual worker is working in any particular locale. And so let's just use $20, okay? Just to keep the math easy, that's commensurate with the.
I think I make that here, so yeah.
Oh, okay. Well, no, I understand. The market condition under which the worker is working in any particular city, let me take it to you this way. This might make a lot more sense. Back during the Iraq and Iran war, right after that, there was a condition that the Army Corps of Engineers was doing a lot of work in Saudi Arabia. Okay? There was a lot of rebuilding in Iraq as well. I told, tongue-in-cheek at some degree, I told a lot of my men, gentlemen, if you want to make $100 an hour, you can go do it. You might get shot at, but you can go do it.
Yeah.
It's a market condition based on all kinds of things. My men work for me because they love working for my company for a number of factors. It's not just the wage rate. And so the wage rate plays a part, but it's not the only part. Okay? We have long-term, loyal employees. And there's a great reason for that.
Very good. Thank you.